So the Vancouver Canucks are playing off against the Dallas Stars later today. And for the most part, I don't know if anybody is really expecting the Canucks to do some damage, metaphorically speaking. But instead of talking about this game, I wanted to dive into some of the discourse surrounding Vancouver Canucks center Elias Pettersson, the latest in trade talk courtesy of Elliotte Friedman, and how some fans are feeling about this dude following his comments in the media today. So, let's kick things off with what Rick Dhaliwal tweeted out earlier this morning. Elliotte Friedman on Donnie and Dolly went out there and spoke about Tyler Myers. There could be a resolution in the next 24 to 48 hours. On Elias Pettersson, it's quiet around him. And then on Connor Garland, there is trade interest in that dude. Dhaliwal followed up here, saying Elliotte said it's quiet around Kane, DeBrusk, and Brock Besser. So this is essentially the latest that we have to go off of when it comes to Canucks' interest around the league. Tyler Myers, of course, bubbling under the surface here. He didn't immediately accept a trade over to the Detroit Red Wings. Elias Pettersson seems like it's quiet around him, quiet around Kane, DeBrusk, Besser too. However, there is interest in Connor Garland. The Vancouver Canucks probably have it in their best interests to trade Connor Garland away before his trade protection kicks in on July 1st. He is totally free right now to get traded wherever, but once July 1st comes around, he will have full control over where he goes. And at that point, if he does want out still, he may force Vancouver's hand, and they may force him to send him to go only where he wants to go. So that obviously is not ideal for Vancouver when it comes to getting as much stuff as they could back in a trade for Connor Garland. But with that said, I wanted to shift a little bit over to the Elias Pettersson conversation, because there was a pre-game scrum with Petey earlier this morning before today's game against the Dallas Stars, and EP40 really did not want to discuss getting benched in Seattle. Take a look at this article posted by Ian McIntyre this afternoon. It goes over the comments made by Pettersson in that scrum, and how he hasn't lived up to the expectations. Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't mention it? I mean, I haven't lived up to expectations of the contract, and I'll be the first one to say it. Obviously, I wish I would be different, and had played better, getting a lot more points, but it is what it is. I'm trying to play a good game tonight, and see what happens. With no goals in 13 games for Pettersson, and no shots in 2 games since returning from the Olympics, it's not surprising that Foote finally reached the point on Saturday where he pulled one of the last coaching levers available to him and benched his alternate captain. I mean, Petey is a top-line center, Foote explained Monday. In my opinion, the last game, he didn't have the zip, he didn't have the energy, and I wanted to make an adjustment. He and I will talk today before the game. He's good. I think you'll see him react the way we want him to react, respond the way we want him to respond, and I don't expect anything less. He's got to be better, Foote said back in Seattle Saturday, and Pettersson knows that. He's aware of that. We need more from him, and he's got to find it. He knows he's got to be better for us, and we'll see that next game. He has got to play with more zip, more pace to his game, more engaged. Good things will happen when he gets his motor going. Now, one of the interesting things that I remember talking about back when Foote was promoted to the head coaching position of Vancouver was that he was very optimistic when speaking about Elias Pettersson. He would say all the things that Rick Tocchet never did, where Rick Tocchet would essentially beat Pettersson down as much as he could in the media, saying, oh, he needs to do this, he needs to do that, you need to have a routine with him, we're trying to change the way he thinks about hockey, etc., etc. Adam Foote always seemed more accepting of who Pettersson is and more encouraging than anything. This was seen as a pretty good change of pace for Petey because, as we learned from Bruce Boudreau, Elias Pettersson is not the kind of guy whom you are going to motivate by tearing him down. JT Miller is that kind of guy. If you want to get the best out of Miller, you tell him, oh, we're not going to play you against McDavid because we don't think you can handle it. But if you want to get the best out of Petey, you have to say the opposite. Oh, we are going to play you against McDavid because we know you're the right guy for the job. Bruce Boudreau was very clear when talking about those two individual personalities, and Adam Foote seemed a lot more open and accepting to the game that Pettersson was bringing to Vancouver at that time. But now, to see things go the way they have, and to see Pettersson and the media getting a little bit snarky too, take a look at this. Adam Kierszenblat. Elias Pettersson was asked today about the ongoing trade rumors and if he is surprised to hear his name mentioned. I mean, it's you guys who make the trade rumors, so ask yourself. Now, this comment obviously was not taken positively by Canucks fans. The "it's you guys" from this entire locker room is so old, man. BX's Burner says when you make $11.6 million per season and 1. Almost have as many blocks as shots on net, 2. An 18-year-old rookie defenseman has more goals than you and Garland combined, probably referring to Matthew Schaefer in New York, and 3. You haven't scored a road power play goal in 2 years, you shouldn't be surprised at trade rumors. This is why the media hates Petey. He doesn't suck up to them like Bo Horvat did. Will Elias Pettersson go down as the most hated and ridiculed than the great Louis Eriksson himself? So, obviously, Canucks fans are not taken nicely to the comments made by Elias Pettersson. In fact, there was this post made by Ray Hatt that I thought was pretty interesting to talk about, too. All the hate that Pettersson is receiving from the fan base is warranted. I defended the guy, and unfortunately, he just isn't the guy I thought he was. He's an overpaid player that doesn't have the same passion for hockey and is happy to collect a check. I hope they move him sooner than later. Now, this is a pretty common sentiment I think we are starting to see amongst Canucks fans. There will be people going out there and defending Pettersson, though. Of course, let's take a look at the R Canucks subreddit. There are, let's just say, more kind opinions towards Petey from over here. Bro is starting to channel his Luongo and Bertuzzi now. He is definitely going to the Panthers. Barkov, Pettersson, Lundell, Bennett down the middle is some scary crap. It is what it is, Bertuzzi said. My contract sucks, Luongo said. It is what it is. Okay, there is that Bertuzzi interview coming back to the forefront. This guy just needs to go somewhere else, and I say that completely dispassionately. I believed and cheered, and have been frustrated, and it's just time to go at this point. As bad as he has been the past few years, I hope people don't hate on Pettersson as a person. In his time here, he has always been respectful and realistic, never blamed anyone else for his struggles. You can tell he is just an introverted, shy guy, and dispute that he has handled most of his criticisms with grace. At this point, I just want to trade him, so there are no more threads about him here. It's a shame he has not lived up to expectations, and at this point with where the team is, I don't see it turning around. A real bummer to think back to the excitement I felt when Besser, Petey, and Hughes were all young, and I felt the team finally had a bright future again. Experience Canucks hockey, baby. That's, I think, the most disappointing part about this entire situation. Remember when John Shorthouse had his comment, that game against LA, Quinn Hughes' opening contest in the National Hockey League? Pettersson, Besser, and Hughes all on the ice in overtime. Enjoy the future, folks. But that was a mere, 6 years ago? It's been a while since then, and obviously the Vancouver Canucks are nowhere near that level of exciting anymore. So with that said, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. How do you feel about the latest in trade talk with the Vancouver Canucks? What are your thoughts on Elias Pettersson and his entire situation here? What are your thoughts on the comments that he made in the media? Do you think it's getting a little bit snarky here? Do you think folks are starting to hate on this guy a lot more? It is getting worse for Elias Pettersson, and I just wanted to dive into that all before the Canucks and Dallas Stars game. So thoughts in the comment section below about this situation over here. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.